everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking all about how I turned my life around. So I thought this was an especially good time to do this video because it's New Year's Day. Happy New Year, everybody. And this is the time where a lot of us, make some changes. So I used to not be a fan of New Year's resolutions. I would just say, if you have to wait for a specific day, then, you have a problem. Like, just do it today. But I've come to understand and learn as I get older that many of the issues that we have and the problems that we suffer with are amplified around the holidays. So I think this is a great time to sort of step back, reassess, take a look at what's working, what is serving us, and what isn't, and how we want to make some changes to move forward. So I don't know exactly what day you're watching this, but definitely don't wait for a specific day to make some changes. Start making those changes today, because what I've learned is the excuses that you make today, you're gonna make tomorrow, you're gonna make the next day. And we have to remember that any excuses, any justifications that we make to continue the bad habits that we're making right now, that we know are destructive, that we know we don't want to continue, is the addiction talking. And we have to tell it to shut the heck up and go away. And that's because you are in control now. The addiction is not in control anymore. You're taking control of your life. So for me, it was always like with drinking. It's like, well, I know I have a party coming up, and then, whatever, there's something after that, and then it's the holidays, and it's just gonna be a tough time to quit, so I'll figure it out later. But no, I'm gonna keep on making those excuses, so I have to start right now. You have to start right now. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about my story, how that all went down, and the changes that I made, and then we'll get into some tangible tips. I think I have like 6 or 7 that you can take away from today that are going to help you move forward in the future. So I'm gonna say this right off the rip, because I think this is the most important point of this whole video, and something you have to remember when letting go of destructive habits and addictions and things like that is you have to focus on everything that you're going to gain from doing this and not what you're going to lose. I know it's easy to think like, for me, it's like, oh, I'm never gonna drink again, and then I'm never going to be, blasted at parties, and I'm never gonna dance all free and whatever. No, those aren't the things you have to think about. You have to think about what you're going to gain. I'm gonna gain mental clarity. I'm going to gain a whole bunch of money in my bank account because I'm not spending it on alcohol. I'm going to gain, clear mornings and waking up early, and it's just gonna open so much more space in my life to do other things. There is infinite stuff to gain from dropping those habits and very, very little to lose. But our brain only seems to focus on what we're going to lose. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So I know it's hard to imagine now if you know how I live and my personality and lifestyle now, but I absolutely loved drinking. Like, I found it made me more outgoing. It made me just have more fun. It made me, dance and just be crazy. My inhibitions were gone. I felt like it even helped my creativity in the beginning, but we all know that honeymoon phase with things like that only lasts for so long, and then it really just starts to become more of a burden and doesn't really do those same things that it used to do. And that's when you really need to assess and think, yeah, this is not serving me anymore. It's not doing what I want. It's not doing what it used to. And often what happens is you end up just trying to drink more or consume more drugs or whatever it is to get that same feeling, and you're not gonna get it. So I just entered this cool little place where they actually have like a farmer's market in the summer. This place is really awesome. So I'm gonna put the camera down so I can talk to you guys a little bit better. Check out this cool tree though. Somebody like knitted or crocheted a little jacket for it. So my friends and I started to drink and party pretty hard when we were really young, and that sort of set the baseline for me for what was fun. And this sort of continued throughout my teenage years into my 20s, and once I moved out of my house and started living on my own and with roommates and stuff, it just kind of progressed and got worse. And I found that I was trying to get through all the difficult stuff in life and throughout the day, which I've learned is actually just life, so that I could get to the end of the day and then I could just drink. And that pattern continued, and you guys know how it goes. I'd wake up hungover, I'd do whatever I could to sort of shake the hangover off. I'd have some coffee, I'd go for like a jog, or I'd go skateboarding or whatever, and I was never getting any better at those things. I was sort of just like, maintaining my health and fitness, and I probably wasn't even doing that. So I'd just find some food really quickly to eat, whatever I could kind of stomach, because I wasn't feeling very good, so it would usually be fast food or something like that. And then, I'd go to work and then come home, drink and just sort of do it all again. And it wasn't allowing me any space to grow. I was just sort of in this fog and I was stuck and I didn't really know what to do. And I knew I needed some change. So at the time I was working at a restaurant, kind of bar sort of thing. And I'd been to school for public relations, so I really should have been into, business or something else, but I didn't really like the field that I'd studied and I didn't really know what to do. And now that I look back on it, I kind of realized that going into the restaurant industry and working in that sort of allowed me to normalize the lifestyle I was living. This pattern went on for a while, as it does, until I met some friends that, lived a healthier life than me, and I would always be amazed that they would just be so happy just being. Like, they'd go out into nature and be happy. I'd be like, you can drink before you go out here, you can drink at the beach, and they were just totally content just being. And I wanted a piece of that because the drinking started to feel like a burden. It started to feel like something I always had to just drag along. And at this time, I started to realize that many of the issues I had in life all stemmed back to me drinking. So I think it goes without saying at this point, but I have very addictive tendencies, and I had to come to acknowledge that in order to move forward. And I looked at my family history, and yeah, there's a lot of addiction in my family. So it doesn't mean that we can't overcome it, but it just means that we might be more susceptible to it. And because of these addictive qualities, I've come to learn that for me, moderation with things that are easy to indulge in is not really possible. Like, I'll say, okay, I'm only gonna drink on the weekend, I got this. And then all of a sudden I start convincing myself, oh, the weekend is, obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then all of a sudden the weekend starts being Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm just drinking all the time. So it's just not in my vocabulary. Moderation for me is not really possible. So right there, I quit. Cold turkey. I knew I had to stop. I had to make some changes. I stopped buying it. I stopped going to parties where I knew it would be at. I stopped working at that restaurant. I changed my jobs. I knew I had to make a whole 180, and my life changed, and it was mostly all for the better. One small thing that I noticed was that some of those friends that I had that, I would drink with and I would party with, I didn't see as much anymore. And of course, that's like the natural progression of things, but it was sort of sad to me at the time. But now that I'm past that, I've come to realize that if those relationships were truly based on things that we had in common other than drinking, then they'll continue. And if the relationship is valuable enough and we want to keep it going, it will continue. But if it is not serving me anymore, like the alcohol was, then yeah, maybe it's a relationship I don't need to have in my life. And I know it sounds harsh, but at the end of the day, you got to be looking out for number one. But it opens up space and time for you to have friends that are more in line with the lifestyle that you're currently trying to live. So it wasn't always easy for me. There's definitely times where a few years down the road, I'd say, okay, I think I could start drinking again, just have it, a little bit here and there, and you guys already know how that goes. It just doesn't work for me. And one thing that I have learned as I've become more in tune with my body is that alcohol makes me feel really crappy afterwards. And I'm not talking about the hangover, even after that. Even if I just have, 2 or 3 drinks or something at a dinner and I don't feel drunk or anything, the next day I feel okay, but then it's like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days later, I just noticed I feel depressed. I don't have much, creativity. I don't have a lot of ambition. And it's funny because that's the stuff that alcohol used to help me with in the beginning, but now it hampers that. So here I am today. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm in control. I do not miss that old lifestyle at all. It's time to live a new life. And the things that I get enjoyment out of now, I get just as much enjoyment out of than I did when I was partying and going to bars and getting messed up. And I actually remember them and I feel more present now. And I'm more happy doing things like just coming out into the forest, making content, working hard, getting up early, being dedicated, working out all the time. These are things that bring me joy in life. And that's all the stuff that I used to avoid before so that I could just get to the end of the day, to the drinking. Hopefully some of this is resonating with you guys because I know I'm not alone with this. So what helped me make that switch? Because it wasn't as easy as I just said. It wasn't just okay, today I know I'm gonna have to quit and go cold turkey and not drink again and change my whole life and that was it. No, that's not how it went at all. So I have a few points here that I've written down that I'm gonna share with you guys, some tangible things that you can take away from this that'll hopefully help you in the future. And this doesn't just apply to drinking, you can apply it to so many different things in your life, just addictive tendencies, bad habits, anything like that. So number one, realizing and acknowledging that these habits and tendencies have a way, and especially with alcohol and drugs, have a way of dimming our spirit over time. So at first, you feel all creative, good, and everything like I said, but over time, it definitely dims your spirit and brings you down. You want to be vibrating on as high of a level as you can, So, just don't handicap yourself right off the bat. You want to be firing on all cylinders. So number two, letting go of what is no longer longer serving you. And I know this one seems pretty obvious and self-explanatory. However, sometimes it takes a little bit of introspective work, some journaling, some sharing stuff with friends to kind of realize what the problem is. And you might have to go down the chain a little bit, like for me it was, I'm staying up late, I'm not eating good food, I'm just, going backwards in life, but I had to keep going back. What's the problem before that? What's before that? And then the very start of it was drinking. Number 3, and this is a big one, and this has helped me a lot, is be accountable. So this might be joining a support group, making changes with friends, even just speaking with loved ones, family members, or friends, and letting them know what you're doing. It's sometimes hard to admit you have a problem, but everyone's always really understanding, especially when you're trying to make healthful changes. So that was a big one for me. I needed to fix myself, but I knew I needed some help. Number 4, use whatever resources you have available and put the time and effort into your old ways into building new habits and new ways and getting over those old habits. So read books, watch videos, speak with other people that have been in your situation that have maybe overcome it. And often learning about the negative health effects of these things is enough to help catalyze the change. Like if you look at alcohol and all the negative effects it has on almost every aspect of your body, it makes it a little bit easier to stop drinking. So one thing that has helped me so much, and I always go back to this, is watching YouTube videos from people who have gone through what you've gone through, but then going down to the comment section and reading the comments, because you'll find people in there that aren't quite there yet, that want to get there. You'll find people who are on day 1, you'll find people who are on day 10, week 10, year 10, and it's just amazing to read how people have struggled and what they're going through, and you're not alone. A lot of the things that you struggle with, other people are going through. And one theme that I see over and over again is not one of those people who have successfully overcome these negative habits, these addictive things, ever regrets it. Nobody ever looks back and says, oh, I want that old life back. Oh, I wish I hadn't made those healthy changes. So just keep that in mind. Nobody looks back and says, I wish I hadn't got sober. So number 5, I actually got this one from the Andrew Huberman podcast, and he explains that when these cravings come up or when these old tendencies sort of surface again, do something simple yet positive towards your goals. So for instance, like, if you want to be healthier, you want to start drinking more water and, just eat healthier or whatever, and your big goal is to quit drinking, well, whenever you have an urge to drink or whatever, go and have some water, go eat some healthy food, because it'll start to train your brain like this is the right thing to do, not that I used to do, this. And I'm sure he explains it a lot better than that. So check out Andrew Huberman if you want to kind of expand your mind on those kinds of things. But the goal can't be too big. That's the thing. You can't say, okay, I'm going to go and every time I want to drink, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours or whatever, because there's going to be too many roadblocks in the way for you to do that. It has to be something simple. So number 6, fill up your life with better stuff. So this is imperative, because if you have too much idle time, we know idle time is the devil's plaything. So you've got to fill up your time, and this is your new lifestyle. So get into it, get into nature, start exercising, drink herbal teas, pick up a new book, like whatever it is, just start filling your life with positive things. And even use the time and money that you used to spend on those old habits on new things. Like if you're not spending $100, $200 at the bar every weekend, well, that leaves a lot of room to, go on vacation, buy gym equipment, join pottery class, whatever it is, it definitely opens up some time and some money. So number 7, I actually saw this little drawing as a post the other day, and I thought it was so effective, it really stuck in my mind, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Some of you may have already seen this. All right, so I'm not sure if you guys realize that I was an artist, but I am. So this line here represents difficult choices early on will lead to an easier life. This, if you make the easy, more comfortable choices early on, it's going to lead to a lot more difficulties later on in life. That is powerful. So it's sort of like delayed gratification. And you can use the example of going to the gym for this. So you put in the effort in the beginning to go to the gym, and it's difficult, you sweat, it's hard, you might be sore, but then the benefits you get are in the long run. And that goes for so many different things in life. Do the difficult work early, things are going to be easier later on. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know down in the comments below if you did. Share your stories if you've had some successful sobriety stories, or if you're struggling or whatever. Put it in the comments section down below. Don't be shy. The Simnett nutrition community is so helpful, and I love you guys, and I'm excited for this new year. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you soon with another one. Bye-bye.